Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Aziz, and I am really happy to welcome you to the very first session of our new project, the Educational Bridge. Educational Bridge will be a series where we connect students from Central Asia with some of the world's leading universities. And today we have a special guest, a great guest from Johns Hopkins University, Chris. Chris, can you say hello one more time?
Hello.
Yeah, that's great. So, Chris will tell us all about what Johns Hopkins University offers to the students and what students can expect if they want to study there. And we also have one more thing here. We have a co-host, a participant we selected from our own audience. It's Tasnim. Tasnim, can you please say hello one more time to our viewers?
Hello.
Great. So, Tasnim will ask her own questions directly to Chris after Chris's presentation. And of course, everyone can also take their part. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to send them in the comments. We'll be checking them throughout all the stream, and we'll try to ask as many as possible. So, Chris, once again, the word is yours.
All right. Yeah, sounds great. My name is Chris Moan, and I'm going to be sharing some information with you about Johns Hopkins University and the Department of Civil and Systems Engineering. Um, just a little bit about myself. So I'm the director of the master's program, the full-time master's program here in civil engineering. Um, and Yeah, so my role is to review admissions. So if you submit an application and the master's program in civil engineering, I will review it, and once I'm more or less the one deciding acceptances, and so then once you're accepted, then you get here, and I'm your academic advisor, and I help you make sure you do well here, and then graduate, and so like I'm pretty involved in the process, and also like I know Hopkins well. I worked through my PhD here, graduating in 2008 in this department. So I know the facilities and many of the professors like very well from that time, even when they were my professor. Um,
Mhm.
and uh, yeah, and I've been working in this current role as like the director of the master's program since 2017. I also teach some class. I teach one class a semester, sometimes an undergraduate class, sometimes a graduate class. So I'm pretty yeah. I'm a big fan of Hopkins. Um, and So yeah, hopefully you can tell that as I present today. Uh, I think we have some slides, detailed slides on admissions process and all that in our department, but I think it's nice to start with a big picture overview of Johns Hopkins. As you all are probably aware, it's a research focused university. It was founded in the middle of 1800s as like a research focused university, and it has never really deviated from that mission. Um, it has so I wanted to just share this website because I think it's really um, or this particular page because it lists. So Hopkins has 10 divisions, and one like unique thing about Hopkins, one unique characteristic is that we have these 10 divisions, but there's tons of activity and interaction between them. There's not many walls, barriers between, for example, the School of Advanced International Studies, the Applied Physics Lab, Arts and Sciences, and our Whiting School of Engineering. There's also a business school, medicine, nursing, and an amazing music conservatory music school. My kids some even get to take lessons there sometimes. We like the buildings are spectacular. You can feel the history. You're walking around listening to the violin and cello, and it's it's a jewel. And then we also our department often interacts with the Bloomberg School of Public Health, which is really making a big impact around the world on public health. So I just wanted to give you like a bigger picture overview of what's going on at Hopkins. And if you come here, you get to interact. It's pretty easy to interact with many of these divisions. Um, there's also a couple of like I also wanted to emphasize there's a few new additions that are I think are really exciting. Um, so there are a lot of like institutes and centers that are at the forefront of the Hopkins mission. So one is, for example, the Agora Institute. They have a brand new building that's just being constructed near, like, on campus, and it's like focused on the study of democracy and democratic principles. Um, it's just highlighting this like brand like a this institute has been around for a while, but like it's getting a pretty forward like a big footprint or a big a lot of um yeah, how should I say, like it's getting a lot of visibility these days. um
Mhm.
like then there's of course AI is everywhere, and so we have a very strong and well-funded data science and AI institute. So I encourage you to like go and check out this position too. And so like um, some of our faculty, or actually many of our faculty, recent faculty that are hired in the civil and systems engineering, were hired through this institute, who are experts in machine learning and that kind of stuff applied to uh, civil infrastructure problems. And just one other one I wanted to highlight, which is very close, which is lives more or less in our department, is the Hopkins Extreme Materials Institute. And I think this is also like a really um, impactful research um, yeah like like research group. And the professors who come to Hopkins to work here, they end up teaching. And so like what's very cool is then you get to interact with them. I mean, these are world-class people, world-class researchers who end up getting to interact with you. So that's just like I just couldn't help but share like three of those. There's more, but just yeah. So and then in our department, I mean, we have spent a lot of time focusing on like these specific grand challenges that we want to address. And so we have our faculty and our student population are all like focused on these kind of topics: resilient cities, space, uh, health, like I mentioned, the Bloomberg School of Public Health, human safety and security, and energy infrastructure. So like um, our department is still, like, I would say, relatively small compared to many to other traditional civil engineering departments. Um, when I came, when I was a PhD student at Hopkins in 2004, 2005, it was just 10 faculty. So it's almost doubled in size now. You can see that the number of graduate students, actually the number of graduate students is growing also. Like more master's students. That's been a focus for us for a few years, getting expanding the offerings and of the master's program. And for sure, our PhD program is really strong. And the PhD students and the postdocs are like the engine that drives the research here in our department. We have like world-class like facilities and equipment, like structural engineering laboratory. We do a lot of fire, structural fire engineering. So we need furnaces and computational mechanics labs. Um, there's also like one of our professors, Professor Mueller, is like a world expert in additive manufacturing. So he has these very cool machines in our building in Latrobe Hall. Latrobe Hall is where we all work. Um, and yeah, like that he has very cool machines that can print anything from metal to skin to food. So like yeah, it's yeah, there's tons of like very cool stuff happening even in our building. Um, and I emphasized this earlier, but this slide also talks or shows the reach of our department, how the students and professors and everybody, we often interact with these other departments. And like, so because Hopkins started as a research university, like the rules of the way the university operates are set up to accommodate that kind of interdisciplinary research. So there are not many like boundaries, like there's not much bureaucracy. There's not much like so you can easily cross into these other and interact with other departments and divisions. So like just emphasizing that again, I think that's unique. And it's maybe also because of the size, like Johns Hopkins in general, like in that first slide, I think I showed it was like 24,000 students total across like a few different campuses, but overall Hopkins is pretty small. So like the student population. And so that's also like helps with the ability to collaborate. Um, Yeah, and since I mean we're all working with other universities as well, many of the research projects include multiple collaborators, and so you can see we have connections, and many of our students, if we, for example, master students, they go on to PhDs, other great schools. So like so there's quite a strong academic network that we're a part of. And research areas. Um, no, I don't know what's going on with that particular this yeah. I'll just say like there are three research areas um in like yeah in our department. They've always been here like since probably I think the 50s, 1950s, 60s, 70s. Mechanics, materials, structures, and systems. Um, More recently, we restructured the department to focus even more on systems, to even kind of break it out and have like our own set of systems engineering faculty. Um, but yeah, just here to I'll just highlight the different areas. So mechanics and materials. You can imagine working at the microstructure, the from the or nanoscale, micro, meso, like trying to develop new material models that consider fracture, um, fatigue, like designing new materials, like that's all happening here. And a, a great group of professors. Actually, even last night, Professor Shields, he gave the inaugural like a world like a sorry a university-wide presentation about machine learning, AI, and engineering and science and its impact. He's like yeah. So like these professors here are uh, like known around the world, and like they're yeah. It's pretty cool. Um, yeah. So just giving you some examples of the kinds of things we're working on. Um, Structures faculty, again, like we're working across earthquake engineering, fire engineering, and thin walled structures optimization. Um, a recent strength for us is rapid disaster estimation and response, like yeah, and smart urban systems, including transportation. And yeah, it's just an example of thinking about using materials in new ways. And then, as you can see here, so we have the systems faculty, and like this is where many of the new additions have come in the last few years. Um, there's also some veterans like Professor Agusa. He's been with our department for maybe 20 years, but he's for sure like um, yeah, he works on yeah, he is like he's so like he knows so much that he can work on anything. So he works in public health. He works on uh like he helps like with malaria in like Africa, and he also works on like structural dynamics and like energy dissipation. Like he can cover it all. So that's like the caliber of professors that we have here. Plus, he's the nicest guy ever. Like, this so nice. Like, you get to talk with him. You have like a nice dinner with him. Like, he's so also genuine. So anyway, like our overall our faculty have that characteristic, I would say. Like we're all very like a very close-knit, very like nice people, along with being like experts. But see here the topics that are covered, and we're tackling all of them and with high profile impacts, like energy infrastructure, biosecurity, um, again, like healthcare stuff, smart cities, smart transportation, like even autonomous vehicles, and yeah. So it's a for sure an exciting time in our department. It has changed a lot. Like probably half of these faces here were hired in the last like 5 years. So um, yeah. Uh, so just one example, actually, this is a bug in the slide. This is actually should be systems research, but like so like Professor, this is one example like of um, what we're up to. Professor Lauren Gardner, like she was the one who, with one of our PhD students, like launched this COVID dashboard when the pandemic first hit, and it became one of like the most popular worldwide resources for COVID statistics. And so like from our little department in Baltimore came like this dashboard that everyone was watching every day. So it was like it's very cool. Um, all right. So like yeah, so just giving you some ideas of the people, the things we're thinking about, things we're working on, and our focus areas. Like um, now we can talk about degree programs and admissions, and I'll cover PhD and masters. And um, I for sure, like at the end of this presentation, I'll share you all the contacts, but like you should not be shy about reaching out to us. Like you know me now, so for sure you can find me. But like we're pretty approachable, and it does help to talk to us. I think to figure out exactly where you might want to land in at Hopkins. Uh, so for the PhD program, it's the typical timeline is 4 to 5 years. It took me 4 years to finish mine. Um, there's a qualifying exam, there's annual reviews, and there's a graduate board oral exam. Um, the typically for PhD students, you're accepted, and then in the first year, you're matched with a faculty member. And then you do most of your courses in the first year. I try to do some research, get into some research, and then after your first year, you're mainly focused for the next 3 years. Your 3 4 years, you're focused on research. The PhD program, if you're accepted and end up at Hopkins, you're fully funded plus a stipend, which I think is maybe up to like $45,000 now. So this is you can also imagine that this is very competitive. Probably receive 400 applicants a year for 15 spots, 15 to 20 spots. The master's program, we actually have two programs. We have one in civil engineering and one in systems engineering. And they're structured similarly. So there's a coursework only option. You can finish in less than a year, like 2 semesters, 4 courses in one semester, 4 courses in the next semester, fall, spring, and you're done. Many folks do that. Some hang around longer, especially many of our students from abroad. They want to get a little research experience, and they also need a little bit more time to like find a job. Most of them are trying to find a job in the US. We have 8 courses, and then there's also a thesis option, which was not that popular for a while, but now it's becoming more popular. Um, and it's partially because the faculty here are um, looking to use master students more in research projects. Uh, and so yeah, the thesis option, I'm seeing more and more of it. Where there you would take 7 courses in a thesis. So yeah, there are many combinations of possibilities. 2 semesters in a summer, 3 semesters, 4 semesters. Like pretty much you either work with me or Professor Pita, depending on which program you end up in. And it's pretty much one-on-one. We make the decisions together, like how you're going to structure things. There's some application deadlines. So, I mean, we have an early application period before December 1st. I've already been reviewing applications. They're coming in. Um, so for sure, like if you're gonna submit an application, like just even you can even let me know or let like it also helps like say I submitted the application, like then I can like go and look at it. Like it's yeah, that kind of thing helps. Um, uh, yeah, there are so the one of the hardest I tell the students who I advise, like one of the most challenging parts of getting a graduate degree at Hopkins is choosing the classes because there's so many classes. So there's many classes in our department, and as I mentioned, we encourage you all to like go out and take courses from other departments as well, or even other divisions. Um, and so, and also there's a uh, on-campus world of courses, so taught like in classrooms, and then there's also a whole online world. So Hopkins has a very strong online program as well, and so if you come here, then you have access to both. So you have just like there's tons of courses, and so like yeah, I mean think you could read through these. Like we have more practical oriented courses, like we have more theoretical focused courses. We have some lab style courses. More like PhD level, like we're trying to train our PhD students. And uh, yeah, if you're a master's student, for example, you can still take them. They're just a little bit more intense. They're like so there's different levels of intensity, there's different focus areas, and like but overall there's just tons of cool courses. Like yeah, I wish I was a student again so I could go and like take all these fun courses. Um, yeah, so all these dates and things are like a little bit challenging to digest, but like maybe just focus on if you're applying for the PhD program, you need to get your application in before December 31st. Um, and what happens is the professors start as I was mentioning, it's usually up to 400 or more. And so we get those applications organized, and um, the professors go through them over a period of almost a month and a half through February. And then in March, start making decisions on contacting admitted students, and like even maybe even getting them to Hopkins for like a visit to see us and talk to us in person. Um, so that's the timeline for the PhD program. And then yeah, yeah. And then for master's program, I would say the deadlines are more flexible. As I was mentioning, we have December 1st, like early-ish admission, which can give you like maybe a little bit more favorable tuition support. So for many of the masters, so for most admission offers that we give for the master's program, we do offer some tuition like scholarships, especially for students from abroad. We understand like the full tuition is pricey. And since, like the PhD program, everything's covered, but for the master's program, like it's more money for the student. And so we try to help as much as we can to get the good students here. Um, but anyway, so yeah, December 1st, and then the March 15th is usually like the hard deadline where we're we're pretty much tired of reviewing applications. Like we've been reviewing applications since November to March, and we're kind of done. So that's pretty much when we wrap up. So like, but yeah, I'd say we're fresher and more like positive towards the beginning. So submit it earlier. Although like we get start getting tired towards the end. Um, yeah, and you see, there's some requirements here. GRE is no longer required. For me, like I review tons of applications, and what I'm looking for, I look at your transcripts to make sure like I'm not so worried about like GPA and all that. Like I'm more worried. I just want to make sure that you have the background to be able to like do well here. Like uh, yeah, I just want to, yeah, I'm just want to make sure you're gonna have like a really positive experience, and um, So I look at transcripts and then I read the letters of recommendation. They're really important. And I read the statement of purpose. I look at the resume. Like if your resume is like really like sloppy looking, like that's kind of a turn off for me. Like it should be like at least like nice and neat. Like I don't care too much about the formatting. Like or yeah, I'm just yeah, like it should be like yeah, it should look like professional, I guess. Anyway, that kind of thing is how pretty much we decide admissions. Um, and yeah, and then decisions are made for the as I mentioned to the PhD program probably in March. And for for master students, it's rolling. Like we'll admit students starting like December, January, February, March, even April. Um, yeah, the student experience. Like as I was saying, like well, yeah, I went to Hopkins. Like I had a great student experience. Um, I'll say like the our department is extreme very strong and like just being close knit. It's not that big, like everybody helps each other, supports each other, like so professors and students, it's I think it's pretty amazing actually, the atmosphere. um the yeah, living in Baltimore, I think is with Baltimore is I've lived a lot of places and Baltimore is really nice. I think it's yeah, I call it like a city in the like kind of like a city in the woods or something, or like a city in the forest. Like so there's lots of tons of natural areas. It's not that high densely populated. We maybe have like 400,000 or 500,000 in the city, and then there's big suburb. But like it's really tons of nature and tons of like really interesting history, some good museums, and we have Chesapeake Bay here, and like I don't know, it's really great people. Like I don't know, like it's really a nice small city, and uh, um, there's lots of really strong student organizations. Um, so you can like with lots of activities like going skiing, like lots of social activities, getting together, coffee, like once a week, that kind of thing. Like there's like Chinese New Year, Diwali, like whatever you can imagine. Like there's tons of always stuff going on. So so yeah. Um, yeah, and like career wise, like for PhD students, many of our uh PhD graduates go on to be very successful researchers, professors, work in industry. Um, like as I mentioned, we have a strong university network, and we have a very strong network with companies around the world as well. So master students often are coming here. They're focused on getting a job. Um, so especially students from abroad, they're looking to get opportunities here and find opportunities here in the U.S. And so we have, I mean, anywhere from Miami to LA to New York to Baltimore, wherever you want to try to end up, or whatever company you want to try to end up in, we have contacts and we work hard. It's also one of my jobs and the jobs of the directors of the graduate programs is to help you connect with potential employers. We have a couple different career fairs that are very popular. Many of the employers are looking for our students because our students are like well trained and like we have worked hard to train our students to be leaders in the profession, engineering. So like that's what companies are looking for. Yeah, and just to mention here, like pretty much where we end up with um, people everywhere and anywhere you can imagine. Um, yeah, so this is just a small list. Like I don't know, you can't put it all on the screen here. So yeah, that's my presentation, and I'll also just emphasize here that you can contact any of us. uh, but depending upon your interests or needs, and just don't be shy.
All right. Christopher, thank you so much for the presentation. It was interesting, and I do think that it's inspiring. So we have a couple of questions from our comment section, but before that, I would like to give word to Tasnim, who ask you also her questions. Tasnim, please.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Sure.
I wanted to ask about the admissions process. So, is there anything you'd recommend for students who are applying to Johns Hopkins soon? Like, is there any specific activities or extracurriculars they could do to ensure their chances of getting in?
Hmm. I mean, I always, yeah, it's a good question. I mean, for me, I'm looking for some technical skills or computing languages, for example. Um, so these days, most of the research and the courses that are the were yeah most of the graduate courses include some sort of computing component. So like knowing some Python or some open source language, I think is really attractive. And I find myself when I'm reviewing applications, if that's not mentioned, like sometimes I worry a little bit for them because coming here and then being asked, so in your first homework, you got to write a couple functions to do something and you don't know how to do that. That's yeah. So I would say maybe that skill, emphasizing that would for sure help.
Thank you. And what about, so you mentioned that Johns Hopkins was a research-based university, and it's not a very big university, but still, do you think that every student has an equal chance of participating in research or starting their own? Do they have the needed resources for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, so for the PhD students, for sure, like I mean, that's what they're there for. They're just gonna go do their research. They got everything. For master's students, so if the master's students want a research opportunity, we work hard to try to make it happen. So I think that I don't know if it's an equal opportunity because it depends on your skill set and your interests and also like your drive a little bit. Like you have in order to find a good opportunity, sometimes you have to like work. You have to try take a class with the professor you might want to work with. Like this is often how it happens with for the master's program. You identify a few professors that you might want to hang out with in their research groups, and then you do well on the homeworks and you go talk to them in office hours and you build a relationship with them and like you get to know them and then they are like invite you and like then you can start yeah then you just pretty much start hanging out with them and um that's how it works. Like sometimes I find the students are a little some students are a little shy and then it's a little more challenging for them because it's hard for them to get FaceTime with the professors. So but then yeah, and that's part of my role as well and part of the graduate advisor role is like helping the student review the potential opportunities and also connecting them.
Okay, thank you. And one last question. What about scholarships and financial aid? So all the PhD students are fully funded, but what
Yes.
about other ones? So is your do you have like a merit-based policy or is it need-based? And like what the student needs to do to qualify for the financial aid?
Yeah. So for the master's program, the financial aid comes in so the main source of financial aid comes from these tuition scholarships, pretty much uh, Hopkins uh, covers a portion or our department covers a portion of your tuition. And that percentage can vary. For master students, I would say the maximum these days is probably covering 50% of the tuition. And I mean, the decision on merit versus a need is like it's a great question. So usually how we're doing it is we're offering it based on merit. Like we want to try to get the best like students we can to Hopkins. And so like if we see an amazing application, then there'll probably be more tuition scholarship attached to it. That's usually how it works. We also understand the need part, like some applicants, like there's currency issues in the world, right? Like I mean, like for example, in Iran or like you know, like or yeah, other places where like just no matter how much money you have, like you just still cannot like match the dollar. And so like for sure we're sensitive to that too. Um, and but that happens more or less like on a one-on-one basis. Like I'm communicating with the applicant uh, and trying to figure it out, and also talking to my the department chair and things like that. So yeah, maybe that's not a fully clear answer, but that's pretty much what happens. It's like I would say it's merit first, and then need based on like just discussions. But usually it's not it's usually these days what I'm seeing is that it's the maximum is kind of around 50%. So and that's still I realize is like makes it hard for many students from abroad.
Okay, thank you so much for
Oh,
your
also I
answers.
wanted to mention like so I get this question a lot is like that so then after this tuition scholarship is there anything else that's available? And I'm usually from what I see, I don't see students finding much else. Like, so the Hopkins itself is not offering more financial aid. Like the Whiting School of Engineering is not offering more. So like the only way that I think students make supplemental money is sometimes they can find jobs on campus. So like, um, yeah, there's not much like, yeah, but it's definitely a little bit of a challenge, I'll say.
Okay, so the
Sorry.
jobs on campus are also available to every student?
Yeah. Not every student you have to interview and like you have to apply, but there are quite a few jobs on campus. Um, Also, like there's jobs in the department. Like you can imagine professors running an experimental program like in one of our labs and they need help, then you can also get paid for that. Um, it's Yeah, it's I'll just say it's typically not a lot of money. Like it's not like you know, you're getting paid like maybe $20 an hour, something like that, but it is some money. So,
Yeah, it's so
just
good.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great.
So
Thank you very much to Tassim for her questions. Christopher, if you don't mind, I have a few more questions from the comment section.
yeah,
I'll
no
read
problem.
that to you. So one of the first questions, oh here, do Johns Hopkins University have branches of medicine in university?
Branches of medicine?
Yeah, are you teaching medicine at Hopkins?
I'm not teaching medicine. No, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean,
That would not be good. That would not
yeah.
be good. Actually, we are talking about like bones in my solid mechanics class, but like I don't think that counts. Um, uh,
Maybe in
yeah, I mean,
general
there's
in the
yeah, I mean,
university.
there's the medical school is
Mhm.
has many branches, like from ophthalmology to like general medicine to like very specialized. Um, yeah, yeah, practices. I'm not super familiar with them. I'll also say like, well, I'll just mention I'm coming from the engineering school and the biomedical engineering department. does a ton of like very cool work with the medical school. So like including like a heavy focus on robotics. Like I don't know if you're so there's more and more robots involved in, for example, surgeries. And a lot of that is coming from our engineering school. Like so yeah, but I don't know much about the medical disciplines.
Okay, okay. It's all right.
The hospital is really nice. I've been to the hospital there in down. The hospital's amazing. So like,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, just one moment. Could you please turn off the presentation for us?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. I'll just
Yeah,
stop
okay,
sharing. Yeah.
So next question. From your perspective, what qualities or experiences make an applicant stand out at Johns Hopkins beyond grades and test scores?
I think when I'm reading the personal statement and the statement, yeah, like the statements that you write, like I'm looking we're looking for some uh vision from you, like something. So we want to know what you want to do with your degree. I think that is really, I think you thinking for you all, like contemplating that, talking to others about it, uh, and then writing it is can make a big impact. When I'm reading I read lots of those statements, and what I'm always searching for is like I want to know where the applicant wants to go, and how they see using the Hopkins as like how they see Hopkins involved with that, like
Mhm.
what courses, what professors, whatever, like what you're going to learn that's going to get you to where you want to go. So I think that's I'll offer that advice.
Great. Do you need WES evaluation of diploma for students?
So that's usually the diploma or the transcript.
I think there's a question about diploma.
Actually, I don't I th- I don't know. Um, I would have to so my colleague Elena knows that, but she's not on the call. I know that I see WSTS evaluations of transcripts, and that's usually
Okay.
really helpful for me because the transcripts, as you can imagine, reading from school to school, it can be confusing. Um,
Mhm.
but for the diploma, I I want to say yes, I think it's required, but I'm not sure. So
Mhm.
um, but you can. So there was a few emails on there, but like so I don't know if you saw Elena. I should have introduced her, emphasized her more. Elena is like a key part of our graduate program.
Mhm.
She knows every single question or role like this. So you should email Elena, and she can tell you immediately.
All right, thank you. Um, what are your personal tips for students applying to Johns Hopkins University?
Hmm. Personal tips. I think uh, I think you should just not be shy about expressing yourself. Like
Mhm.
we're looking for like unique souls. We're looking for people who are forward thinking. We're looking for people who really want to make an impact. So like don't be shy about expressing that. Um, and so don't try to like guess what we want to hear, I guess. You should really like, I know that's not easy actually. It's not easy to like express yourself in like a resume or like some of the writings like the personal statement, but like really focusing on that. So I'm just one reviewer of admissions applications. There's lots of others. Like so for PhD program, for example, I would say, uh, yeah. So yeah, I'm talking about me mainly when I was giving you that advice. But like, so for the PhD program, I would say, like, it's more if you're trying to, it's this is gonna sound weird, but like, so for sure, like PhD program, it's like grades, like performance matters. Like you have to look like a rock star, and then on top of that, you have to be lucky because, as I mentioned, these professors are getting projects, and then they need a specific person on that project. So they're looking for people with those skills. Like they're looking for someone with specific skills to plug into that project. And so like sometimes you may have be look amazing, but you don't have the specific training or skills that would plug in. So like so yeah, I'll just mention that as well. Like you should not feel bad if you don't get into the PhD program. You might be amazing, but still so yeah. Like I maybe I went off topic on the question, but like masters and PhD are totally different uh, uh, application review processes.
All right, thank you. So, here, which extracurricular activities are the most important in the application and portfolio?
I don't think I don't think I don't think there are like I don't think there are any that are important. Like I mean, so honestly, when we're looking, I think so sometimes if you have too many extracurricular activities, that's a turnoff. Like we need you to be able to balance and like if your application is heavy on extracurricular stuff, that's sometimes a negative. So like more focused on like just learning what you need to learn. And like yeah, maybe that's yeah, sometimes that's better. For sure, I find it like if I find it interesting reading about the like if you're like if like we had one applicant who was like an avid writer and reader like of like classic novels, and
Mhm,
so she like wove these quotes from like Steinbeck and like all of these into her personal statement. Like then
mhm,
that's like very cool. Like so expressing your activities in the context of how you're going to approach graduate school is cool. But just having a list of extracurricular activities is not that exciting.
mhm, mhm. Okay, thank you. If a person has a startup, how much does it, will that be valued by admission committee?
I mean, for masters or PhD, like so I think that's could be interesting if it depends. Like if it um yeah, it depends, I would say. Like I definitely appreciate like we definitely appreciate like entrepreneurial spirits, I would say, or like that kind of drive. Uh I I think it could matter or it might not matter. It
Mhm.
it depends on the story. I think it's more about the story than the startup.
Mm, okay, okay, I see. Thank you for your answer. How important is foundation in math and physics when applying to engineering programs?
Yeah, I mean, so that I was mentioning, that's great. That's a great question. Like I was mentioning that's for the first thing I look at when I'm reviewing applications. And I think most of us, even PhD or masters, we look at what courses you've taken. Like for at Hopkins, we're very math and physics focused everywhere. And so having a strong background in that for sure helps you with the application process.
Mhm, mhm. All right. So you earlier mentioned about on-campus jobs for students, and we have a
Mhm.
question about that. So, how can international students apply for on-campus job? Could you please elaborate on this a bit? Like, what is the process?
Yeah, there's a here, like there uh I'm just gonna find the website. I think there's a website. Um yeah, sorry. Yes. Here, I'll share my screen for a second. It's called Smile. So it's like, I think you can see that URL. I can't make that URL, but like
You can see the
drop it
website.
in. I can drop it in the chat. Yeah, this is where you go to apply for on-campus jobs.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right.
that's it. Yeah.
Could you talk a bit about this process? Like, if a person applies to this job, what's next? It will be an interview or?
Yeah, there's usually an interview. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like you submit, you're contacted if they're interested, they interview you, and then yeah, then you get the then you get the job. Honestly, like I don't know, like not many of our students take advantage of this. So I don't know that much about it beyond, like I don't know what the hourly rates are. Like I don't know how much time it is, but I do know like a couple of our students have been interviewed. Um, yeah. I mean, so yeah, this like I shouldn't like get your I shouldn't like get your hopes up too much because like for some reason many of our students do not end up doing this. Like I know it's available, but I don't know what like what happened at least for the two. Like there's one student I know who applied for this and she was interviewed and actually I think she was even accepted for it, but then she ended up finding another more engineering focused opportunity, like a
Mhm.
internship. Like I don't know if you heard like that the bridge collapse here in Baltimore. Like there was a big bridge that collapsed last like maybe 2 years ago now. And so there were like some internship opportunities from the federal government and from the state of Maryland. And like that particular student ended up working there. She's from Nigeria. But like she was able, like she's a student from abroad, but she ended up working on this like cool project to help rebuild that long span bridge. So
Mhm.
yeah, so yeah, this is the this is available, but I'm not sure much else beyond that.
Okay. Thank you for the website that you shared us with.
Yeah,
I
sure,
think it's
sure.
very helpful. So I guess we'll have a last question. Can
Okay.
you tell us more about research opportunities in Johns Hopkins University? Maybe in general about how the students can apply to research.
Yeah. Are they thinking more about like yeah, I guess they're thinking about the master's program, right?
Yeah, well, we
Um
can talk about masters and then about PhD.
yeah, the master's program you I mean, pretty much we tell the students like you just get to Hopkins like and you start taking courses in the first semester and then you start like trying to talk to professors, like get to know them either through your courses or like just through like there's other more like social opportunities or you can just stop by their office, that kind of thing. And that's pretty much how it works for the master's population. We don't have like a formal research um, pairing at the master's level. It's more like based on student professor relationships. Like um, so that's pretty much how it happens. Like you get to know everyone, you get to know the professors in the first semester, and then you ask like, "Hey, I want to get involved," and they invite you to their research group meetings. So most of them have weekly research group meetings, and so you just start hanging out, and then from there, if there's like a good connection, then maybe they put you on a specific project and like think if things are going amazingly then maybe you end up doing a thesis. Like it's pretty like organic, I would say, like which maybe is different from other universities at the master's level in the US. Often there are like formal graduate research assistantships and all and that kind of thing, but we don't have that in our department.
Mhm. Mhm. All
For
right.
PhD level it's pretty clear, like you get admitted, you get assigned to a professor, and you go to work. That's it.
All right. Okay. So I think that's it for today. That was our very first session of the Educational Bridge project, and we are really glad that you were here with us.
Yeah,
Big
thank you for having me.
for your presentation, for answering all our questions. Also, thank you to Tasnim for joining our conversation. And of course, thank you
Thank
to
you.
all those who watched, commented, and sent in the questions. This is just the beginning. We have many more events, interviews, and live session coming up. Stay with us, follow our updates, and we'll see you very soon. Have a great day. Bye, Christopher. Bye, Tasnim.
Yes, yeah. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks. Take care.